Hi, this is Gage. I'm excited to walk through our Valuations tool. If you click to your dashboard here at the top, expand the menu, the last indented tab is Evaluations. This is free to use for all ages. Hi, this is Gage. I'm excited to walk through our Valuations tool. If you click to the dashboard and expand the menu on the left-hand side, the last indented tab is Evaluations. The Evaluations tool is free to use for all ages, so your youth as well as middle school teams. If I come down here and expand and click the eye to view an evaluation, we'll see what this looks like, and obviously this changes based if you're on your phone, iPad, etc. The key thing is that you're going to see live in the evaluation what your other coaches are saying. So here we have the initials of another coach, Mike, and we're going to be able to see what that coach is saying. What you say is on the left-hand side, so you can click to rate A, B, C, or you can put that they're an A-B player. The other thing is you're going to see if your other coaches are adding notes. So a gray tab means another coach has added a note. A blue tab means that you've added a note. So what you can do while you're still on the field is come down here and see all the players that you don't have notes on. So in this case, we need to get a note on Jack and Peter. If I come over here, you can see that you and this coach agree that this is an A-level player, Bart, that we think that Frank is a B-level player, but you can also see where you may be in conflict. So in this case, if I change this rating, now we're on the same page. Again, this runs like an app, saving the background every minute or two so it doesn't kill your battery and your data. If I come back up here to the top, again, what you say here is on the left-hand side, so you can press or press and hold, and as an admin, you'll have the ability to lock down a player, for example, as a B-level player. You'll see a key after the coaches if they have that admin ability. When you lock down a player, that's going to populate that in the grid on the right-hand side, where it'll say A, B, C level and what their position is, so you can see how you're balancing your teams live while you're on the field. If you want to pull up two teams side by side, maybe you have two teams that are scrimmaging, you can do that. You can use custom groups, etc. And here you can see those teams side by side. If I exit the evaluation and I come down to results, what's great is it's going to automatically consolidate those results for you, so you can come here and see your top players. You can place them onto different teams, like your national or your regional team, and you'll be able to audit and see what coach said what when, and see all that information. You can check that your team placements are even across or balanced across positions, and you can message and invite those players. So if I come here to the Manage tab, this is going to show you all of your evaluations if you want to edit an evaluation, and there's a walkthrough if you check out eval process towards the bottom that helps you kind of visualize the evaluation, so you can actually load up an evaluation and see the health of it. So in this case, we have 8 players that are in 2 groups. We're using 18 metrics to evaluate those players, and 2 coaches have access in the evaluation. We have a robust check-in system. You can check in hundreds of players. If a player walks up, you can search for their name, assign a number, check them in. Someone behind that check-in table could take a picture on an iPad, for example. If you have a walk-up player, you can handle that here and quickly check in the players, assign a jersey, etc. You can do that in advance as well. If I go back to the previous page and down to the bottom, so here is where we can edit an evaluation. So first, let's create a new evaluation, and all you need to do is just put the name, we'll call this test eval, the date, we'll say it's this weekend, and if you're on 2, both a men's and a women's, you can choose the gender. And then right now it's set to the current sample as far as metrics and current admin. So you could have custom metric groups, so different metrics for youth versus high school, different coaches that are evaluating youth versus high school. If I create this evaluation, the first thing you're going to want to do is add players. So if I come down and click this link, or from the previous page, I could come down and click on the pencil, and that's where we're going to be able to come down here, edit things like our metric and coach set that we just talked about. If you want to blind tryout and hide the player names, you have that option. If you want to create custom groups, maybe you want to call this Team A or Group A, you can create custom groups to easily place the players in. Next, you want to add players. You can use that through integrations. You can pull them from existing teams that you may have in the system, and you can also import many players at once. It's very easy. There's a template here if you want to download that. That's a good first step, and what you can do is just make sure that your columns names match. So for example, if I browse to that file and open that up, okay, first you're going to see that based on the column title, it's going to match that information. So an email in this case, we see a column of emails. I can preview and validate that, make sure the information looks right for the players, and confirm that upload. Okay, you do want to make sure that you, so in this case, we've created 3 groups and let you know how many players are in each group. You could create more if you wish. You can invite coaches. So again, the coaches that are in your coach group are the ones that are going to be able to open up the evaluation. Nothing is shared with the player unless you consciously share that. If I come down here to the bottom, this is where you can put players into different groupings, etc. If you want to bulk upload jersey numbers the night before, you can do that. If you want to try to find some duplicates, you can do that here as well. So this is the Manage tab. Again, for each evaluation, this is where you're going to come in and, for example, change that coach group, maybe to your high school evaluators, the metrics, any kind of custom eval groups and options here. And then further down, this is where you'll be able to add players, either through an integration or just a bulk upload. And then if you want, you can apply them to custom groups so that when you open the evaluation, and I'll show you an example, you can filter and say, show me all the players in group A. And now you're looking at just those 3 players. If I exit, I'm just going to go across these tabs here at the top. So again, results, if you have multiple tryouts, you can consolidate those into one view. This is where you can audit, see what coach said what when. You can come to the right, see all the different ratings. You could come further and see the notes that have been added, etc. If you want to download this into a CSV file or PDF, you have that option. And obviously over here is where you can use team placements to put players onto teams, and that'll show you as you balance those teams out. The next is placements. Again, if you just want to create those placement groups, you can do that here. Metrics, you can create, again, a new metric set if you want. So if I wanted to have a different group for youth, I could do that. If I click on the pencil, you can edit these and decide what metrics you want to include. If you have a custom metric, just email us to get that added if you don't already see it in the list. If I come down further, there are some options here where you can star. That'll help show that metric at the top. So if you do have, in this case, a lot of metrics, like we have 18, if you want to make sure that you put the most important ones at the top, you have that option here. If I come to coaches, these are the coaches that can access that evaluation. So if I come here, you can see where you can add coaches, give them different permissions. So again, an admin is able to lock down a player to communicate to the other coaches while they're still on the field to focus their attention elsewhere. You can effectively say, nope, we just want them to be an evaluator, or maybe we don't want them to see what the other admins are saying. So that way you're kind of evaluating how strong of an evaluator your coaches are while you're out there as well. The information that's logged can be shared as feedback, and the kids can see their progress over time or relative to the group, so you can build a track record with those youth, middle school players, as well as the high school players that you have on the team and their progression over time. If I come back to manage and I come here, so edit, this is where we're going to add more players, create more groups. This link, this is what you want to share to those other coaches. As long as they're in that coaches group, they'll be able to access the evaluation. If I come here, this is so you can edit your metrics and coaches. If you want to print off the metrics, so you can kind of see here, and here we have a lot obviously, but just print this off so you have a hard copy. You have that option as well. It's kind of like a Scantron where they can paste in the information, but again, at least everyone's using the same metrics. We talked about the check-in system, and then results. If you can easily share those results. If you want a metric, just the national team, invite them. You can decide if you want to include notes or not. Maybe you want to show a curriculum so they can see what passing in a 3 out of 5 translates to, and they can see where they stand, and you can share that out to many participants at once. So if I come back to manage, big thing to keep in mind, Valuations tool free to use for all ages. If you open this up, what's great is you're going to be able to see live while you're on the field what the other coaches are saying. So if you think Jack is a stud player, you can lock that player down and focus your coach's attention onto other players. And you'll be able to make sure that you do have ratings on every player. So in this case, if I don't have a rating, for example, on Frank, and I take this off, but I see that my other coach does, I don't have to worry about rating that player. So I can come here and say, okay, show me all the players that aren't rated. Okay, checking that out. And you can also see where are the conflicts. So for example, now I, on the left-hand side, disagree with MS, the other coach. So I can filter here. So show me all my conflicts. So maybe as the 24s leave and the 25s come in, we can walk over to the water cooler and talk about, why did you put A? Why did I put B? Okay, I agree with you. And now we're on the same page. And that's what's going to populate that player on the right-hand side. And you'll see this cloud will just change from green to yellow in the background as it saves. You will be able to come in here and see activity. So for example, if you needed to come in here and change a player's jersey number, this is where you'll click on their name to put in those ratings. We talked earlier about notes. So if you put in a note, it'll put a blue tab. If another coach puts in a note, it'll put a gray tab, so you can quickly handle all of that. So if you have any questions, feel free to just shoot us an email, and we wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you.